A dramatic, inspirational poster design showing a poor young boy standing barefoot, wearing old, worn-out clothes, holding a piece of cloth in his hand. Seen from behind as he looks toward a modern Hyundai car showroom at night with glowing blue lights. Large, bold motivational text on the left side of the poster reading, "How a poor boy created Hyundai." He was poor. He had no shoes. But he built Hyundai, a $50 billion company. This is his true story, and it will inspire you and improve your English too. Background has a soft vintage paper texture. Cinematic lighting, high resolution, emotional and inspirational mood, realistic illustration. Chung Ji-young walked for hours toward the nearest city. His feet were tired, his stomach was empty, and he had no place to sleep. But every step felt like freedom. For the first time in his life, he wasn't trapped by the limits of his village. He felt hope, small but powerful. When he reached the city, everything felt big and noisy. Horses pulled carts, markets were crowded, and people shouted everywhere. Chung had never seen so many strangers before. It was exciting but also scary. He had no family here, no home, and no job. Still, he believed that the city held more opportunities than the farm. He tried to find work. He asked shopkeepers, restaurant owners, and construction workers, but they all told him the same thing. "You're too young. You have no experience. We can't hire you." Days passed. His coins were almost gone. He slept on cold steps and old wooden benches. At night, he wondered if he had made a mistake. But every morning, he reminded himself, "I left home to change my life, not to return empty-handed." One afternoon, he found a small rice shop run by an old, strict-looking man. The owner looked at Chung's tired face and dirty clothes. Instead of pushing him away, he asked, "Why do you want to work?" Chung didn't try to lie or impress him. He simply said, "Because I want to learn. I want a better future." The owner paused and nodded. For the first time, someone believed in him. He hired Chung to carry bags of rice, serve customers, and clean the store. The work was hard, but Chung was grateful. He worked faster than others, listened carefully, and learned how businesses ran. He watched how customers behaved, how money was handled, how problems were solved. In that small rice shop, a dream began to grow inside him. A dream not just to work for someone else, but to one day own a business of his own. Little did he know, this small beginning would lead him to build one of the biggest companies the world has ever seen. Working at the rice shop changed Chung's life. For the first time, he earned his own money. He saved every coin he could, often skipping meals, so he'd keep more in his pocket. The shop owner liked him because Chung never complained, never arrived late, and never wasted time. Months passed, and Chung learned everything about the business, how to buy rice, how to sell it, and how to treat customers. He discovered something important. Running a business was not about being rich. It was about being smart, honest, and hardworking. One day, Chung had a bold idea. He told the shop owner, "Sir, I want to open my own rice shop someday." The old man looked surprised, then smiled. "Ambition is good," he said, "but it takes more than dreams. You must be ready for failure." Chung didn't fear failure. He just wanted a chance. After a year of saving money, he finally had enough to open a very small rice store. It wasn't fancy, just a wooden stall with sacks of rice stacked behind him. But to Chung, it felt like a palace. It was his first real step toward becoming a businessman. And at first, things went well. Customers liked him. They trusted him. He treated everyone with respect, and he sold the best rice he could find. But then something happened that he could not control. A bad harvest hit the entire region. Rice prices suddenly went up. Farmers had less to sell, and customers had less to buy. Chung's tiny shop struggled. Every morning he opened the stall with hope, and every night he closed it with fear. Weeks later, the worst news arrived. The price he paid for rice was now higher than the price customers were willing to pay. Chung was losing money fast. He sold his last bags of rice at a loss. When he finally closed the shop, he stood alone on the empty street. His pockets were empty again. His dream had collapsed. But even as the shop's door closed behind him, he whispered to himself, "This is not the end. I failed, but I learned. I will rise again." He didn't know it then, but this failure would become one of the most important lessons of his life, a lesson that would help him build Hyundai in the future. After the failure of his rice shop, Chung Ji-young felt lost. He had worked so hard, saved so carefully, and believed so strongly, yet everything disappeared in just a few weeks. For a moment, he wondered if his father had been right, if he should have stayed on the farm. But deep down, he knew something important. He was not the same boy who left home. He had learned how business worked. He had learned how people thought. And most importantly, he had learned that failure does not mean the end. So once again, with no money and no plan, Chung walked back into the city to find work. He refused to return to his village. He refused to quit. This time, he found a job at a car repair shop, a noisy, greasy place filled with engines, tools, and the smell of oil. Cars were still new in Korea, but Chung immediately felt excited. He watched mechanics take engines apart, fix problems, and bring broken cars back to life. It felt like magic. The shop owner noticed Chung's curiosity. Instead of sweeping floors, the owner allowed him to observe mechanics. Chung watched their hands, their tools, their techniques. Every night, he stayed late to practice what he had seen. Slowly, the mechanics began to respect him. They taught him how to change parts, how to diagnose engine problems, and how to repair machines with patience and skill. Chung discovered something surprising. He was good at this. Very good. He understood machines the way some people understood music or language. He quickly became one of the best workers in the shop. One evening, after fixing a car that everyone else had given up on, the shop owner said, "You have a gift, not just with your hands, but with your mind." Those words stayed with Chung. The repair shop also showed him something powerful. Cars were the future. Machines were the future. Korea needed people who could fix, build, and improve them. For the first time, Chung saw a clear direction, a path that could lead him to something bigger. He made a quiet promise to himself. One day, I won't just fix cars. I will build something of my own. He didn't know exactly what that meant yet, but the seed of Hyundai had just been planted as months passed. Chung Ji-young became one of the most skilled workers in the car repair shop. Customers began asking for him specifically. They trusted his hands, his honesty, and his ability to explain problems in simple words. But even as he fixed cars every day, Chung dreamed of more. He didn't just want to repair machines. He wanted to build a business that could change his country. One night, after the shop closed, Chung sat alone on a wooden stool. The tools were quiet, the streets were empty, and his thoughts were loud. He realized something important. If I can fix a broken car, maybe I can fix broken roads, broken machines, broken systems. Maybe I can build something that helps people live better. The idea stayed with him. And slowly, a plan began to form. Seedling a small start with big courage, Chung decided to open his own tiny repair shop. He didn't have money, so he borrowed tools. He didn't have a garage, so he rented a small shed. It had a leaking roof, cracked walls, and no electricity at night, but it was his. He painted a simple sign outside. Automobile repair, honest work, fair prices. People laughed at him. Some said he was too young. Others said there was no future in cars. A few even said, "You failed one business. You'll fail again." But Chung had something stronger than fear. He had experience, discipline, and a heart full of determination. Customers slowly started coming. First one man with a broken bicycle, then a farmer with a damaged cart, then, finally, a car owner who trusted Chung more than big repair shops. Chung worked harder than anyone else. He opened early, closed late, and never cheated a customer. People began to notice. His shop became known for honesty and skill. Glowing Star, the turning point. One day, something happened that changed everything. A businessman with a large construction company visited the shop. His truck had broken down, and no mechanic in the city could fix it. He heard about the young man in the small shed and decided to try. Chung examined the truck carefully. He worked for hours, checking every part, thinking deeply. Finally, he fixed it. The businessman was shocked. He asked, "How did you do that?" No one else could. Chung simply smiled and said, "If you care enough, every machine can be understood." The businessman looked at him for a long moment and then made an offer. Come work for me. I need someone like you, smart, hardworking, and fearless. This offer would open the door to a new world. A world of construction, engineering, and national projects. The world where Hyundai would one day rise. The businessman's offer came at the perfect time. Chung Ji-young had become good at repairing machines, but he knew the world was much larger than his small shed. So when the businessman invited him to join a construction company, Chung accepted immediately. It was a new beginning, and the beginning was not easy. Building construction, entering the world of construction. Construction sites were loud, dusty, and dangerous. Huge machines roared all day. Workers shouted instructions over the noise. Trucks carried sand, stone, and metal. It was nothing like his quiet repair shop. But Chung didn't complain. He watched carefully. He learned fast. He studied how roads were built, how bridges were designed, and how teams worked together. He understood machines better than anyone, so he quickly became valuable on the site. When a machine broke down, workers panicked. Stopping a construction project could cost thousands of dollars. But Chung walked in calmly, examined the machine, and repaired it in record time. Soon, whenever something went wrong, the workers shouted, "Call Chung. He'll fix it." He earned respect, not because he was strong or important, but because he was reliable, fast, and confident. Books learning beyond work. Chung didn't stop learning after his shift ended. At night, he read magazines about engineering and machines. He studied the designs of American roads and bridges. He watched how modern companies worked in developed countries like the USA. He told himself, if they can do it, why can't I? He understood something powerful. Korea needed roads, buildings, and infrastructure, and someone needed to build them. Maybe that someone could be him. Fire a leader begins to rise. One day, the company's main supervisor became sick. A huge project needed leadership, and no one knew what to do. Workers hesitated, afraid of responsibility. Chung stepped forward and said, "I can lead. Just tell me what needs to be done." Everyone was shocked. This young man was taking charge, but he wasn't just brave. He was prepared. He organized the workers, divided tasks, calculated time, and solved problems quickly. Under his leadership, the project finished faster than expected. The businessman was impressed. He asked him, "Where did you learn to lead like that?" Chung answered simply, "When you believe in something, you learn everything you need." This moment changed everything. Chung was no longer just a mechanic. He was becoming a leader, a builder, a visionary. The seeds of Hyundai Construction, Hyundai's first company, were beginning to grow inside him. Chung Ji-young's leadership on the construction site surprised everyone, including himself. He had always worked hard, but now he saw something new. He could lead people. He could manage projects. He could build things that lasted. This discovery changed the direction of his entire life. Building construction, dreaming of his own company. After months of working on big construction projects, Chung felt a growing desire inside him. He no longer wanted to just repair machines or follow orders. He wanted to create something of his own, something that could help rebuild Korea and create jobs for thousands of people. At night, after long days of work, he walked past empty land and imagined, one day, my company will build roads here. My company will build bridges, homes, and factories. My company will help people rise from poverty, just like I did. This dream felt impossible. He had no money. He had no land. He had no investors. But he had the most important thing, a mind trained by struggle, a spirit shaped by failure, and a heart full of courage. Hammer and wrench, the first step toward Hyundai. In 1946, after years of saving money and gaining experience, Chung finally took the risk. He opened his own small construction business. Just like his repair shop, it wasn't fancy. It was a small office with a wooden desk, a few tools, and a simple sign. Hyundai Engineering and Construction. Hyundai means modern. People laughed at the name. They said, "How can a poor man build anything modern?" They said, "You are too small. You will fail again." But Chung didn't listen. He remembered his rice shop. He remembered the small shed where he fixed cars. He remembered every step of his journey. This time, he promised himself, I will not repeat my past failures. I will make Hyundai strong. Chart increasing the first big opportunity. Soon, the U.S. military in Korea needed construction help, roads, bases, and buildings. Many companies applied, but most lacked skills or honesty. Hyundai was small, but its reputation was clean. Chung personally visited the American officers. He spoke with respect and confidence. He promised, Hyundai will work harder than any company. We will finish on time. We will not cheat. They gave Hyundai a small test project, just a simple repair job. Chung and his workers completed it faster than expected, and then they completed the second project with even better quality. Slowly, Hyundai began winning bigger contracts. For the first time, Hyundai started to grow. For the first time, people saw that Chung was not just dreaming. He was building something real. Glowing Star, the turning point. One evening, after completing a major project for the U.S. forces, a worker asked Chung, Sir, how did you go from a poor farm boy to this? Chung smiled quietly and said, I never stopped moving forward, even when life pushed me back. Hyundai was still small, but the foundation was strong. The world didn't know it yet, but a global empire was beginning to rise. Hyundai was still a young and fragile company, but Korea was changing fast. The country had gone through war, destruction, and poverty. Roads were broken, bridges collapsed, and cities needed to be rebuilt from the ground up. Most people saw disaster, but Chung Ji-young saw opportunity. He believed that rebuilding a country was not just a job. It was a mission, and Hyundai would be part of that mission. Building construction, winning trust through hard work. Hyundai began taking projects that other companies refused. Dangerous projects, complicated projects, projects that required courage. When others said, it cannot be done, Chung replied, anything can be done if you try hard enough. His workers admired him because he worked beside them, not behind a desk. Chung carried tools, moved equipment, and solved problems with his own hands. He never asked anyone to do something he wouldn't do himself. Slowly, Hyundai gained a reputation. Strong, honest, fast, reliable. American officials noticed. Korean government leaders noticed. Soon, Hyundai was no longer a tiny business. It was becoming a powerful construction company. Construction, the impossible project. In the late 1950s, Hyundai was given a huge opportunity to build a major highway, one of the biggest projects in the country. Many people believed Hyundai was too small. Some said it would take years to finish. Others predicted Chung would fail. On the first day of the project, Chung stood on a hilltop overlooking miles of land and told his workers, if others take 3 years, we will finish in 1. If others say it's impossible, we will prove it is possible. And he meant every word. Chung worked day and night. He slept on the construction site. He ate with the workers. He encouraged them through storms, heat, and long nights of labor. Slowly, the road began to appear straight, strong, and beautiful. When the project was completed, people were shocked. Hyundai had done the impossible, and they had done it faster than anyone expected. Globe showing America's a new vision beyond construction. Success gave Chung confidence, but not pride. He understood something important. A company that stays still will die. A company that grows will survive. He began to dream bigger. He asked himself, why stop at construction? Why not build ships? Why not build cars? Why not become a world leader? Everyone laughed. Hyundai was still small compared to global companies. But Chung knew one thing. He had already overcome poverty, failure, and doubt. He could overcome anything. The dream of building Hyundai cars was coming closer. A dream that would soon change not only Korea, but also the automotive world, including the USA.by the 1960s. Hyundai had become one of Korea's most respected construction companies. Chung Ji-young had proven he could turn nothing into something, and the country was beginning to notice his incredible work ethic and vision. But Chung was not satisfied. He looked at the world and saw the future. Cars were becoming essential everywhere. Roads, bridges, and cities all needed vehicles. He realized, if Hyundai can build roads, why not cars? If Hyundai can rebuild a country, Why not create a global brand? Automobile entering the automotive world. Starting a car company in Korea seemed impossible. Korea had no experience, no factories, and no skilled workers for the automotive industry. Experts laughed at Chung. You are a construction man. Cars are too complex. You will fail. But Chung smiled. He remembered his rice shop, his repair shed, and every challenge he had overcome. Failure did not scare him. It taught him. He began by learning everything he could about cars. He studied engines, transmissions, and designs from Japan, Europe, and the USA. He visited factories abroad. He asked questions, watched carefully, and took notes. Every day, he returned home with new ideas. Then, in 1967, Hyundai made its first bold move. Chung founded Hyundai Motor Company. It started small, with only a few engineers and workers, but the vision was enormous, to make quality cars for Korea, and one day for the world. Gear, the first car. Hyundai's first car project faced countless obstacles. Lack of experience, limited funding, skeptical investors, unskilled workers. But Chung didn't give up. He worked every day in the factory. He supervised designs, assembly lines, and quality checks personally. He motivated his team. If we build this car right, Korea will be proud. If we fail, we will learn and try again. After years of hard work, Hyundai released its first car, the Hyundai Pony. It wasn't perfect, but it was a symbol of hope. It proved that a poor boy from a small village could build something new, something meaningful. And soon, Hyundai cars would start crossing borders, reaching markets in Europe, North America, and beyond. Globe showing Europe, Africa, a global dream. Chung Ji-young's vision didn't stop at Korea. He wanted Hyundai to compete with Ford, Toyota, and General Motors. He believed Korean cars could be affordable, reliable, and admired worldwide. From the dusty fields of his childhood village to the roaring machines of the construction sites. From the small rice shop to the first car factory, Chung Ji-young had transformed his life, and he was about to transform the world. By the 1980s, Hyundai was no longer just a Korean company. It had become a global brand, selling cars in the USA, Europe, and other countries. Chung Ji-young, the poor boy who would walk away from his small village, had built an empire that millions of people recognized and trusted. Glowing star lessons from a life of hard work. Looking back, Chung often said his success wasn't just about intelligence or money. It was about persistence. He never gave up, even after failure. Hard work. He learned everything by doing, watching, and practicing. Vision. He always looked beyond the present and imagined the future. Honesty. People trusted him because he was honest and fair. Courage. He risked everything to follow his dreams. He taught the world that circumstances do not define you. Your decisions do. A poor boy from a small village could build highways, factories, and cars that would reach millions of people. Automobile Hyundai today. Hyundai is now a multinational company known for innovation, quality, and design. From his first small rice shop to building a global brand, Chung Ji-young's journey inspires millions. He proved that one person's determination could transform not only their life, but also an entire country. Even today, his story is shared in schools, business seminars, and motivational talks across the globe. Young people learn from his courage, his vision, and his ability to turn dreams into reality. Lightbulb final thought. Chung Ji-young started with nothing. No money, no connections, just a dream. And through hard work, persistence, and courage, he created Hyundai, a company that changed the world. His story reminds us, no matter where you come from, your future is yours to build.